Have you ever seen one of those commercials pop up on your screen right after your show ends on an amazing cliffhanger? The sad music plays and they show picture after picture of dogs and cats who are at shelters, who are malnourished, who are sick, who are injured, and they say that these dogs don't have a home. Like, please give your money to us so that we can provide them with a better life, provide them with the veterinary care that they need. Oftentimes we see this and we think, oh my gosh, this is so sad, but we don't give it another thought throughout the day. Well, I'm going to tell you what these commercials are truly about. These commercials show us that in the United States of America, that we do not protect our companion animals from abuse and neglect well. They're not protected under federal law. Veterinarian care services are far too expensive. And overpopulation is a growing issue in our country. We allow puppy mills to remain open. All of these things affect our companion animals in our country, and we need to stop this. And so I'm going to provide several different solutions as well as propose the issues that our companion animals receive. So in order for me to do this well, I need to tell you guys what a companion animal is. And so for the purpose of this essay, a companion animal is a dog or a cat. Usually it's any pet, but for this essay, when I talk about this, it's going to be a dog or a cat. So the first thing we're going to unpack is puppy mills. Puppy mills are a puppy farm where dogs are forced to continuously breed with each other, often in very extremely poor conditions. And so these places are underfunded, so they're unsanitary, they're crowded, dogs don't receive proper meals or water, and they don't receive veterinary attention basically at all. And that's because their sole purpose and their sole job is just to procreate and to create more dogs and more animals. And we don't need that in this country. Overpopulation is already an issue. And so I've had my own encounter with puppy mills, and my dog Sophie, she was rescued at 2 years old from a puppy mill. She was malnourished, she was starved, she was injured, she just was so sick, and it's because of her treatment at these puppy mills. She was skittish when we received her, and she was also said to have anywhere between 30 to 40 babies in her lifetime, and she had just turned 2 years old at this point. That is so sad. And 10,000 puppy mills still remain open to this day. And as America, I just can't believe that we stand for this. And there are around 8 states that actually have prohibited puppy mills in our country. And so I'm still waiting for the other 42 states to join in on that. There's over 50,000 dogs who spend their entire life in a puppy mill. And so the real way to address this issue and for us to tackle this issue is to just stop puppy mills. In general, we need to close every puppy mill in the United States of America, and this will make one small step into bettering the companion animal welfare system in our country. I would also like to address the lack of federal laws in America to protect our animals from abuse and neglect and homelessness. And so the Animal Welfare Act was created, but it is a very broad act, and it really doesn't protect that much. It just provides the minimum standard care for an animal. In Florida, we actually have a Florida statute that has prevented us from being able to starve and kill and torture companion animals, this is very amazing. This is very good. This is a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. So I often see animals that are chained up, dogs that are chained up all day, every day in the Florida heat, which is very harsh. Often they're not given food or water out there, so they have no access to that. They're chained up all day. Another form of abuse is shock collars. We're using shock collars in order to train our animals, which is not a proper way to train them. And what if a shock collar was given into the hands of a very abusive owner? Then this dog has to spend their entire life being shocked for no reason, just because their owner is aggressive. So that's another form of abuse. So we need to ban shock collars because there's no reason to have them. We can actually train our dogs using other things. Being chained up all day is abuse. If your animal is aggressive, take it to a trainer. Find another way to calm it. Find another way to train it. Find another way to make it better. But abusing an animal only causes more aggression. Another form of abuse is declawing surgery. They often are taking claws and cutting the tip of a toe off of a cat, and that can paralyze them. That causes immense amount of pain to their back, to their paws, and can be fatal for these cats. And so this is another form of abuse. And so what we need to do is we need to make specific laws that clearly define what is abuse and what is neglect in the state of Florida. And we need to make that clear, and we need to we need to put those in place, and we need to enforce them, because if we don't define what abuse and neglect is in this country, we will never be able to protect our companion animals for that. I would also like to bring up shelters. And so shelters can be good and some can be bad, but a lot of the times these places are underfunded. And so they're getting in all of these animals, and to make room for the next set of animals, because animals keep being created, they're actually euthanizing all of these animals. And so they're killing them. Yes, it's painful, but you're still ending a life of an animal just because there are so many. And so a lot of these shelters are basically ticking time clocks of death for these other animals. And so we need to stop the youth of euthanization on animals that don't deserve it. And so shelters need to be held to a high standard, to where they're not allowed to kill for no reason. So maybe we need to open more shelters and hold them to a high standard, that this should be a place where dogs are able to be happy. And they're able to live a good life until they're adopted. And so that also brings me to we need to open places locally in West Palm Beach where we are housing in dogs that are old and who are unwanted. And we need to give them a good life. If we're going to keep creating dogs, we need to have a place for them. And so if we're not going to have a place for dogs, then we need to stop overproducing animals, because if we don't have a place to house them, we can't just keep killing them because we don't have a place for them. And so in order to protect the companion animals in our country, we need to do all of these things. Close puppy mills. We need to ban euthanization for unnecessary reasons. We need to give more funding to shelters and to create ranches in which dogs can live a happy and healthy life. We need to clearly outline what abuse and neglect is, and present that to our citizens and tell them this is not okay, this is not allowed, and we need to hold them to that standard. And they need to be prosecuted if they're abusing and neglecting their animals. We need to make sure that veterinarian care is affordable. Every single person who owns a pet should have pet insurance. It should be required. Just like you need to get your shots for your animals, you need to have pet insurance. Just like I have to have insurance as a child, you also need to have insurance for your animals. And so it starts with you. Let's be the voices of the people who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you for listening to me today.